We started? Have you ever wondered why people moved west in this great nation of ours? This great video will answer all of your questions about what is known as the Great Western Expansion of the United States of America. In particular, you learn how people traveled west. It wasn't a picnic. Hundreds of thousands of adventurous people made the trip on a bumpy, treacherous trails. On April 30th, 1803, a treaty was signed. The treaty gave the U.S. an area known as the Louisiana Territory, which is 828,000 square miles, in exchange for $15 million. This was a bargain of about 3 cents an acre. The Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the United States. President Thomas Jefferson purchased this land. This land was located west of the Mississippi River. In addition, Texas and the Mexican Cession were gained during the Mexican-American War. Another piece of land was called the Oregon Territory, which was acquired with a treaty with Great Britain. Our new country now contained land from Atlantic to Pacific Ocean. Our country had reached its manifest destiny. This created curiosity of what lay beyond the Rockies. Many wondered what was in this new land we just acquired. Were there riches? Was there gold? Some said there were woolly mammoth. President Thomas Jefferson was curious too. He commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were hired by their government to go west, map the land, and uncover its treasures. In addition, they were to make friendly relations with the Native Americans. This journey lasted 2 years, from 1804 to 1806. When Americans heard of the Lewis and Clark adventure, the race was on. Hundreds of thousands of people moved west between the years of 1803 and 1860s. Though the travel was dangerous and long, most adventurous souls were successful, but only roughly 20,000 died on the way out west. Some of the reasons why pioneers went west were because of the fertile land they heard about. Many wanted to become successful farmers. They heard the ground was perfect for growing crops and raising animals. Others heard about the abundance of animals for trapping. Men called mountain men went after the animals for trapping. They especially wanted beaver pelts. Another example of pioneers who went west were the Mormons. The Mormons were a religious group looking for religious freedom. Not only freedom, but a place where they could live without outside interference. Lastly, pioneers went west to get rich. A nugget of gold was found by James Marshall in California, and word spread quick. Gold fever had started, and many pioneers went looking for gold. How did people go west, you ask? Adventurous souls had to blaze the path. They helped create trails which led west. These trails were the highways of the time, and many were made by Native Americans, fur traders, and even animals. There were 5 main routes. There was the Santa Fe. This trail was the oldest and the first trail which wagons traveled. It started in Independence, Missouri, and ended in Santa Fe, New Mexico. This trail started as a trade route between the U.S. and Mexico. Trade on this trail totaled $15,000 in 1822. By 1860, the number is up to $3.5 million. The trail was about 900 miles, which took about 6 to 8 weeks to travel. It has been estimated that 6,000 wagons traveled this trail each year. When the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ended the war in 1848, the Santa Fe Trail became a national trail connecting the United States to the new Southwest Territories. Another trail was called the Old Spanish Trail. It was connected to the Santa Fe Trail. The Old Spanish Trail was a combination of many different trails, which started where the Santa Fe ended in New Mexico. This series of trails led to the little pueblo of Los Angeles, California. The Old Spanish Trail became a regular route for trade between New Mexico and Los Angeles. This trail became much more popular once gold was found in California. The trail became known as the Oregon Trail. It was 2,170 miles, which begins in Missouri and ends in Oregon. This is one of the most famous trails used by fur traders, gold seekers, missionaries, and immigrants between the years of 1841 to 1862. It is estimated that 500,000 people traveled this route to go west. As a result, along the trail, many military posts, trading posts, shortcuts, spur roads sprang off the trail. The military trail spurred off the Oregon Trail is the California Trail. This trail to California is branched off from southern Idaho. This trail carried over 250,000 gold seekers from California. In addition, the Mormon Trail followed much of the Oregon Trail but veered off and led the Mormons to the Great Salt Lake of Idaho. The Mormon Trail stretched nearly 1,400 miles across prairies, straight flats, and steep mountains. It started in Illinois. Each of these trails led thousands of pioneers to go to the Wild West. After hearing the West was open, many Americans packed everything up and headed out west for an opportunity of a new life. They went all in for the chance to have the American dream. Did they travel by car to go west? No. They traveled by wagon. Generally, the wagon was a canvas-top wagon called prairie schooners. The wagon box was about 4 feet wide by 9 to 11 feet long and 2 feet high. The wagon weighed up to 2,500 pounds and required two to four yoke of oxen or pair of mules to pull them. Though the price of availability goods varied from year to year, most of the immigrants, it cost $600 to $800 to assemble a basic outfit of wagon, oxen, and supplies. On average, a wagon train, which is a group of many different wagons traveled together, might travel 20 miles a day in good weather. Rivers, mountains, weather, and Native Americans would slow the trip down. There were many dangers on the way out west, all of them causing extreme predicaments for pioneers. For example, broken axles, disease, Indian attacks, starvation, wagon animals, dehydration, and winter, all causing accidents, sometimes even death. Winter was probably the most dangerous time to be traveling, as we learned from the Donner's Party. The Donner's Party was a group of 87 pioneers who set out to go west. They got lost and later trapped in the snowstorm in the Sierra Nevada mountains. They were trapped for 6 months total. The group followed a normal route till reaching Hastings Cutoff. In November, their wagon ceased to move and their mules died of exhaustion. The Donners found shelter in the passage and created by other groups who traveled through there. The part of the group went out for help. Only a few survived, first eating their animals, later resorting to the eating of flesh of the members of the party that had died. In total, only half of the group survived. The place where they were trapped is now called Donner's Pass. The Donner's Pass is remembered because of the acts of survival that the Donner Party had taken. This is just one tragic story of dangers the pioneers encountered. As you see, the trails of the Wild West were important because they took settlers to new land. Although the journey was very difficult, it is estimated that 500,000 people moved west during this time period. These trails helped move and spread out our population from east to west.